The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What is up? It is time for Cowboys Storyline. I am Nick Eatman, and we are here on Thursday, November 16th, getting you ready for this weekend's game. Cowboys are 6-3, trying to get to 7-3, trying to get to 10-3, 11-3, all of that. But you gotta take one little step. Can't just pole vault into the into where you want to be right now. And first things first, Cowboys got to take on the Carolina Panthers. Should be a lot of fun. Some of the storylines from an injury standpoint, Cowboys have put they designated their tight end Peyton Hendershot for he can return now. He's designated to return. 21-day window is open for him. He could play this week if he's ready. If not, though, he has a few weeks. At least he can get out there and practice and see kind of where he is. They've been running three tight ends with Sean McEwen as the third tight end. We'll see if Hendershot can get his way onto the roster, and we'll see what that does for the, you got to activate him as well. You got to put him off of IR and take a roster spot. So could be McEwen. We'll see what they do if that's the route that they go. All right. 888-855-2297. That is the phone number. We want to hear from you guys. We already got a couple of callers on the line, so we're gonna just get right to it. Let's go. Let's go to Irene in Virginia. 2 days in a row. Irene, what's up?
Hey, good morning, Nick. Yeah, I'm trying to be a part of this community more here.
You're in,
and also you don't have any too many females who actually call in. I know you have the listeners though.
Yeah.
So,
my mom will call in. My mom called, and then we've had a couple of other calls, but yeah, definitely not 2 days in a row. So that's pretty awesome. Second time caller.
There you go. So hey, the quick shout out to the community. Prayers for Dylan on the Disney trip. I connected with him on Twitter and already assured him of that. But and then shout out to Rob in Vegas. I remember his battles with Broadus on Talking Cowboys, so it's good to hear his voice again.
Yep.
And then Eric in North Carolina. I think he's a chef, if I recall. So if you ever want your mouth to water, ask him what's for lunch.
Okay.
A few questions today. One is Stadio Azteca. When do you think the Cowboys are going to play there? Because I feel like home or away, that would be a Cowboys home game, unless maybe we played the Texans. That might be a toss-up. But that seems like a good opportunity for us.
Where's
international without traveling? It's Mexico.
Is that Mexico City?
Mexico City, yep.
Don't rule out the Steelers for a team that has a lot of fan base there. Steelers. You say Houston because it's probably geographically, but the Cowboys, Steelers, 49ers, and I believe the Raiders have
I think they do have Raiders fans,
really strong showing there. I know when we went to Mexico City, I think it was 2001, and we played the Raiders. I can't remember what the stadium looked like as far as fans and stuff like that, but yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if it's been 9 seasons since the Cowboys played a game internationally, so it seems about right to do something here. I know they've changed some of the rules on how to get some of those international games, but I would be surprised if the Cowboys aren't included in one here pretty soon.
Cool. Second question. We talk about Hunter Lipke a lot, but I'm going to ask about Deuce Vaughn. He's a great story, and I do think he has a lot of talent. We just haven't quite had a chance to use him in spite of our running game not being ideal. I was wondering if you think, if we might have an opportunity here the next, maybe not against Washington, but this weekend maybe. Is it linked to the Turpin injury and whether or not he plays? And then, do you think I don't think the shortness is as big of an issue. Is it a weight issue for him? Because I don't know. It just seems like we should be getting him in space and not just up the middle.
Yeah, I agree with that. And thank you for the call. A lot of good stuff there. Deuce Vaughn, maybe this is an opportunity for him to play some, but he wasn't active until Kevontae Turpin was inactive. Turpin showed his value, I think, in this last game with having Dowdle do kickoff returns and have, Deuce do punt returns, and Jalen Brooks played receiver. It just goes to show just kind of what he's been able to do. And that'll tell you right now that, guys like Brooks and Deuce were inactive. So they want to get Turpin back and get him going. If that is the call up for him, then it'll be hard. It'll be hard for Deuce to get on the field. But as for when he is on there, I think it's just an overall size. It's just overall like mass, weight. I mean, he's a shorter guy. Yes, he's got strong legs and all that, but he hasn't really proven that he can be a playmaker against competition that's going to be in the league. We haven't necessarily seen that yet. I mean, he's made some plays in preseason. He was impressive in preseason. Second half of those games, going up against guys probably not in the league and getting blocked. Guys in front of him blocking for him, guys that not really in the league. So it's really kind of hard sometimes to tell in the second half and third and fourth quarter of preseason games. So, but we'll see. We'll see when he gets out there. I mean, he's still learning. He still needs to play. And he's, he is a playmaker and he's never going to give up. That. So, it'll be exciting to see kind of what they do with him. They're easing him along. This isn't something he's got to, they got to get figured out right now. I think he's got a pretty firm spot on things. But we'll see if, maybe the next few weeks we can get going here. All right. Let's go back to the phone line. If we have a call here, we're having some difficulties here. If we have a call, let's go back to the line here. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? You're on. You're on. What's up?
Allie in Florida.
How are you doing? I don't have your name, but you're on, so let's go.
Mr. Eatman, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I'm a fourth-time caller, but a couple of things. I want to wish you and family and Chris and family happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Second, is there a possible way we can send you and Chris a Christmas card? If it's possible. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And the last thing is I attended every Cowboys game, and I usually tickets are sold out. I buy it in the box office or seat gig, and I stay in the standing room only. Mm-hmm. It's been so much fun. I come in and watch the game. It's so much energy. Then I fly home. But I do have a trivia for you.
All right.
Which NFL team jumped ahead of the Cowboys on the draft day from 28th position to 16? Stole the Hall of Fame player.
They went from 28 to 16?
Right. And they traded in, because there's only two teams recruit this player. It was Cowboys and this team, and nobody knew about them. And every time I previously watched it, it just burned my head. But they won the Super Bowl that year.
The team that made the trade, or the Cowboys?
Yeah, no, the team that made the trade, they won the Super Bowl, and they traded with New England on the 16th position, and they literally stole the player.
See, at first I thought you were saying maybe Jerry Rice.
Yes, that is the
Jerry Rice?
Yeah. You saw
and the 49ers won it that year, 85?
Yeah, they won there on the 28th position, and New England.
That's right, 85, yeah.
Center.
Super Bowl 19, that's right.
Yeah, they needed a center, so the trade, and Mississippi Valley,
that's right.
The scouts and the 49ers, the scouts, they were only two teams that were so high on it very quietly, Mm-hmm. And then the rest is history. And the last one, which Cowboys player they named the sandwich after him?
Daniel Stubbs?
Nate Newton.
Oh. Nate Newton got a sandwich made after him?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a place up here in Capel. Yeah, there's a Newton sandwich. There's also Stubbs sandwich for Daniel Stubbs. So yeah, there's a couple sandwiches. There's a couple sandwiches there. I think there is a big Nate sandwich. There's an Emmett sandwich. I hadn't been up there in a while, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Nate has a sandwich made after him for sure.
But I appreciate what you do. I really
Thank you.
So, I listen to you every night. I don't get a chance to do it. I travel all the time, but I love your show. You're awesome. You're so gentle with your callers.
Thank you.
Respectfully, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you guys as well, and I always appreciate the trivia questions. There's some good stuff there. So, all right, good stuff there from. I think that was Ali in Florida. All right, do we have a caller, Chris? Do we have anybody on the line? Anyone else? Nope.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. All right, let's go to the callers here.
We've got Alex in South Bay, California.
Alex, let's go South Bay, California.
What's going on, Nick? Just want to say, big fan, man. I've been following the platform you guys have over there since back when Rowan Kavner was a part of the team. So I've been following since then.
All right, Big Row.
Yeah, and then I just want to say, going back to last week, I'll make three things. I'll make them really quick.
Okay.
Last week you mentioned most random player.
Yeah.
I'm a Notre Dame fan. Go Irish. I was thinking Julius Jones, but that's a little too easy, so I'm going to go with Anthony Fasano, tight end.
All right, Anthony Fasano. That's right.
And then the other thing was favorite player. I grew up on the triplets, Aikman, Smith, Irvin. Those are my guys, but I'll probably go with Smith. Just watching him run the ball, man, was just a thing of beauty.
Of course.
It was just awesome seeing him do that. And then last thing for you, Nick, is on Sunday, when we're blowing out a team like that, we know what we have in Cooper Rush. Mm-hmm. Why not give Trey Lance a shot there? Just to see if he's picked up the offense, kind of see what we got in him. And I'll hang up the list, man. Thank you.
I mean, I think that question's come up a little bit. The rules are as such. I mean, like as soon as he comes into the game, and here's what I don't know about that rule just yet, because it's still kind of the first year that they've sort of brought it back. What I don't know is that if he comes into the game, I know the other two guys cannot come back and play, and at that point in the game, it's probably fine. What I don't know, and I can figure this out, or I can find out about this, is that do the first two quarterbacks have to be medically ruled out of the game? Like that's what I've kind of heard, that they have to be out. Like, and that's a designation that they announced that this player has been ruled out of the game, not coming back for whatever the injury. So I'm not sure if you can just throw the third quarterback in there. But regardless, if the other two are out or if that's just a decision you make, the first two guys can't come back. So later in the game, if you want to do that and say something were to happen and he gets hurt, you'd have to run, a running back to just finish out the game, which is probably fine. So there are some rules involved there, and I tell you, I don't know exactly all the details there, but at that point in the game, you probably don't want to just leave it up to he's your last quarterback there. But I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong with that. And it might be a situation where if he's ready to make him the second quarterback. And see, at some point this year, that could happen. I mean, it'd be great if the Cowboys could get a situation like they did last year, go up to Washington last game of the year, where maybe it doesn't matter what happened to the standing. Maybe they'll play better than they did in that game, but obviously it didn't hurt them with momentum. But it might be a situation later in the season where you could see Trey Lance actually be the second quarterback, or who knows, play as the starter. I mean, who knows what will happen with that. All right, let's go. If we have a caller, we'll take it.
Yeah, Darren in Maryland.
Darren in Maryland. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, Nick? How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. First time calling, man. The show is great.
I appreciate that. I am seeing some new names here today. This is pretty great. How are you?
Yeah, I like that thing, man. I'm doing great. Listen, I got two quick stories for you.
Okay.
One has to do with my favorite Cowboy. One has to do with a random Cowboy. My first story is the year before Wade Phillips got canned. I live in Maryland. DeMarcus Ware was here doing a autograph signing in Columbia Mall. My son at the time was 7. and he had a heart condition.
Okay.
So we went into the store. DeMarcus's rep said, "Listen, DeMarcus is going to be here in about 30 minutes, but you have to pay for his autograph." I was like, "Well, dude, I'm a big Dallas fan. I'm not paying for nobody's autograph." He's like, "Well, I guess you're not getting DeMarcus's autograph." Now, mind you, I don't know if you can tell from my accent, I'm from New York.
Okay.
I don't take no for an answer.
Okay.
So I said, okay. So I came back to the store. DeMarcus was in there. I motioned to DeMarcus about my son having a heart condition. DeMarcus got up, went next to my son, sat there and talked to him literally for 10 minutes, signed an autograph, and took 3 pictures with him.
And you
amazing.
And you paid how much?
Zero. Zero.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my favorite Cowboy. My second story is my business partner, and as soon as I say his name, you should know who I'm talking about. My business partner's name is Mark Banks.
Mark.
You know who his brother is?
You said Mark Banks?
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Banks?
Tony
Banks.
Tony Banks. Yep. That's my random Cowboy.
He played the same amount of snaps in the regular season as the amount of dollars you paid for that D. Ware autograph.
So you know what, Nick? I was about to say, I was going to cut you off and say Tony Banks played the same amount of snaps that I did.
Yep. Oh, man. I tell you what, funny now. I don't know. It wasn't funny at the time. But the first 2 years that we went to Oxnard for training camp, 2001 and 2004, the first 2 years we were there, we cut our starting quarterback in the middle of camp both times. We actually, Tony Banks played a preseason game, came back, and he is walking with his luggage, and I'm walking right behind him. We had 2 or 3 reporters were asking him questions.
I was there
he didn't know what was going on. Chris Beam was there. He was out, visible for this one. 3 years later, we cut Quincy Carter. Chris Beam was in the bushes filming this, but kind of weird to think that you go to training camp and you cut your starting quarterback. We did it twice at Oxnard. Cool.
Yeah, it's literally a funny. Not funny. It's a little awkward. I'm a big Cowboy fan, been from Starbucks and whatnot. But to have meetings with Mark and Tony walks in, and Tony knows doggone well I'm a big Cowboy fan. It's just a little awkward.
Yeah,
it's just a little awkward.
Definitely.
But listen, man, you were doing tremendous. I was trying to get in yesterday, the day before. I thought I had the wrong phone number. Chris is wonderful, bro. Listen, man, all props to you. I love it. You guys are doing great, man. I'll be in. I'm coming to see the Redskins game, so I'm gonna, and I'm staying at the Star. So I'm looking forward to getting up there. We get in Tuesday, so I'm gonna do the tour and see if I can stop by and see you guys on one day. But listen, man, all the best of luck, Nick. You are doing great.
Thanks.
Man. I really, really appreciate the show, brother.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Darren. Good stuff.
All right, buddy.
All right. I would tell him, that's not their name anymore, Washington, but he doesn't take no for an answer, so he's probably still going to call them that, which is fine. And that's a cool story about D. Ware. But if I know anything about the people, people like, any players that go to events like that, they have people with them, and they are, they're tough, and that's what they're supposed to be. Because if they don't, then the player will get, they'll get stopped and over because they don't want to say no. So they got people around them to kind of be like the bad guy so much. So I guarantee that's a cool story. You probably pissed off this person next to him that said, that was supposed to tell him, no, you don't do that. But, D. Ware is a good dude, and that doesn't surprise me at all, that especially for a kid, for him to go and do that. All right, let's see if we have any other callers.
Brian in Kansas City.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Hey, so, I was listening to the break, don't want to beef up the competition too much, but I was listening to the break before your show, and they were talking about Dak is maybe a little bit better when he plays against man coverage than he is zone coverage, and apparently the Panthers are going to play a single high zone coverage scheme this week. I didn't, I say this all the time, I don't analyze football for a living, so I don't really necessarily always catch on to those things. Like, I can recognize cover 2 when I see it, but that's about it, and that's from Madden. So that's. But so I don't know if you had an opinion on that, if that's something that, people have noticed over the years. And then I got a trivia question for you. So this would be Super Bowl 30. So it's the 95 Cowboys and Steelers. There are 8 Hall of Fame players that were starters in that game.
Yeah.
Can you name them? And I'll hang up and listen, man. Have a good one.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you, Brian, in Kansas City. Talk about Dak and that offense. Hall of Fame players that played in that game, Steelers and Cowboys. So, and he hung up. So we're gonna have to figure it out on our own here. But we'll do it quickly here. We got Aikman, we got Emmett, we got Irvin, we got Larry Allen, we got Deion Sanders. We got Charles Haley played in that game. He did. Okay. So I got those 6 for the Cowboys. And I would say Rod Woodson. I think Rod Woodson played for the Steelers over there. And I'm probably missing somebody. That's 7. Hope I'm not missing a Cowboy, honestly.
Was Hines Ward on the team?
No Hines Ward on that team. I believe Darren Woodson will be on there at some point. I'd like to think, but now it's probably because see Greg Lloyd. Kevin Green. Did Kevin Green play on that team over there? It might be Kevin Green on the opposite side. I know Greg Lloyd was on that side, but I don't remember if Kevin Green would be the guy on the other end, but that would be my guess. I know Carnell Lake played. I don't think they had any offensive linemen played on their side. Bam Morris wasn't in there. It wasn't in the Hall of Fame. So my guess would be Aikman, Emmett, Irvin, Larry Allen, Deion Sanders, Charles Haley, Rod Woodson, and Kevin Green. That would be the 8 that I would guess there on that. All right, let's go to break real quick. Let's try to see if we can figure out. We got a little bit of a technical issues here. Hopefully you guys can't tell, but we will go to break. We'll be right back here on Cowboys Storyline.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't stop banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit unitedagandturf.com to find a location near you. Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, back here on Cowboys Storyline. I was just looking up the trivia question. Dang it, Brian in Kansas City got me. He asked the question, if you just missed it or just joined us or whatever. It wasn't that long of a break. But eight players from the last Super Bowl Cowboys were in, Cowboys and Steelers, the 95 season, 96 Super Bowl. 8 players are in the Hall of Fame in that starting lineup. And I guessed Aikman, Emmett, Irvin, Larry Allen, Deion Sanders, and Charles Haley for the Cowboys. I also guessed Kevin Green and Rod Woodson. Rod Woodson was not on the team. If he was, he's not in the starting lineup, so that doesn't count. The guy that I missed, I said no offensive lineman. I did miss one. Center, Dermontti Dawson, Hall of Famer. Dermontti Dawson and Kevin Green were the Hall of Famers from the Steelers in that game. The Cowboys had 6, and Steelers had 2, which is probably why they won the game. Better players. And at some point, they will have 7 in Darren Woodson when he gets in. I'm trying to see if the Steelers have anyone maybe that thinks that somebody should get in. I mean, Carnell Lake was a pretty good player. Greg Lloyd was okay. But the MVP of the game was Larry Brown. Of course, Neil O'Donnell helped with that as well. All right, Eric in North Carolina is our next caller. Eric.
Hey, what's going on, Nick?
What's up?
Nothing much, man. This is going to be as quick as possible. So this morning, man, I stumbled upon ESPN. I guess it's called Get Up.
Yeah.
So I just want to say I'm just glad that you guys have such a formidable media outlet for us Cowboys fans to run to. You know, for coming from people who are always around the team, knows the team well. You know, because if we had to rely on these national media markets, man, we would be completely lost, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I say that to say Dan Orlovsky went on today and goes on to say that Russell Wilson and Brock Purdy have been playing better football than Dak Prescott over the last 4 weeks specifically, because that was a debate. I couldn't think of anything more ridiculous than that. This guy has, you know, he's just leading all the statistical categories damn near over the last 4 weeks now. We're not talking about the complete season, but just over the last 4 weeks. Outside of the guy there in Houston, it's hard to find somebody who's playing better football at the quarterback position than that, man. You know, and it's just, they're constantly moving the goalposts when it comes to this quarterback and his team. You know, and it's so frustrating, man. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing. This is why. Like, do you watch wrestling?
So I just went to Monday Night Raw in D.C.
Okay.
Night.
Who's the biggest heel right now? Like, I don't know. I don't watch anymore. I mean, I know like Roman Reigns is good, but he's not like a heel, right? I mean, they got.
No, you got guys like, you know, you got wrestlers pretty much like what's my guy's name? Cody Rhodes. You know what I'm saying? He's the top dog.
Right. I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah, right. All those guys. Back in my day, it was Ric Flair. I mean, you know, he was. I mean, but you got to have those guys. And I'm not saying that Dan Orlovsky, maybe he thinks that way. Maybe he doesn't. But maybe that's what his producers want him to say. But if guys like that can talk bad about the Cowboys, no offense, but then there's people like you that get really pissed off, and you call here and say, "Oh, it's fake. It's not real. It's not. Yeah. It's really not. It's not real." Stephen A. Smith loves the Cowboys. He loves Jerry. He hugged Stephen Jones before the game, the Chargers game. That's what they do. But they understand what the role is, and they understand. And then there's those fake tough guys out there that want to always hate the Cowboys because they know that their fan base that loves them, they'll always be appreciated if they stay like that. So I don't believe, you know, I don't think it's real that you might hate the Cowboys, but it's not for the right reasons of being a journalist. So
Absolutely.
Shady McCoy and Bart Scott and
all clowns.
Rex Ryan.
Clowns. Oh my God.
Okay. But I just, it's not genuine. It's not genuine. Right, their hate isn't. I mean, or their opinions about the Cowboys aren't necessarily, you know, either tied to what they do on the field, or it's what they've done or what their team's done in the past or whatever. So
absolutely,
I think it's a waste of time to get worked up on it. I really do.
Right. You know, I agree, and that's why I called and talked about it.
Right.
And he even proceeds to say Josh Allen does not have a turnover problem. You get what I'm saying? This is just ridiculous stuff. You know, and it just, you know, it definitely worked me over today. So I'm glad I got that out, man. So
that's fine. And don't let it get to you. And I'm not necessarily saying that those people, they don't know what they're talking about. A lot of those guys played in the league, they coached in the league and all that. But I do believe that everybody kind of has their own agenda, and sometimes it's when it comes to the Cowboys, it's really easy to be that guy that's against them all the time because people are going to come back and I want to hear what they have to say, and then if the Cowboys win, wow, what's Stephen A. or what are these guys going to say today? And it's never what you think. It's never going to be like, man, I was wrong. Good job. It's always, well, yeah, good win for them. We'll see what they do in the playoffs. So, you can't ever win with that. And it's just entertainment. I really think a lot of those guys are like, it's the same as pro wrestling. It's scripted. That's what I believe in a lot of that. So, but good for them. They get ratings. They're doing something right. They're on the TV every day, and they got people that tune in, which is the name of the game. All right, Doc in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Doc, what's up?
Hey, Nick, long-time reader, long-time listener.
All right.
Whatever podcast you're on, man, it's the best.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I've been to Allentown, Pennsylvania. I was over at Tamaqua, Pennsylvania one time, so I've been over that way a little bit.
Yeah, we have the Flyers AAA team here, so it's a nice place.
I bet there's no fights in those games. So.
Well, there's lots of fights, but not as many as when the Eagles play the Cowboys.
That's true.
I saw you down at the Eagles game the other day, and with my son, and
okay.
It was the first time I took him to a Cowboys game in Philadelphia, and I've been to about 20 stadiums with him. He's 25 years old now, but I never took him to the Eagles because of how terrible their fans are. So.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys survived. Too bad it wasn't a win.
It was close.
Yeah, definitely.
We had a great time.
Good.
And we didn't get any fights. But what I wanted to question you about is, with Pollard as the running back, I think the Cowboys are making the same mistake they made when Marion Barber and Julius Jones were the dual backs. And then they said, oh, well, Barber's so good, we're just going to go with him. And when they did, he wasn't great as the number one back because he just, he was a great, tough guy, but he just couldn't do it. And as the number one with all the carries. And so I think they need a second guy. And I like that they seem to be using Dowdle more the past couple weeks, which I think is a positive. And
yeah. I mean, and I don't know exactly what they're going to end up doing. I think they're going to stick with it, but it sounds like, and it appears that they're going to just give more carries to Dowdle, and I think we saw that in the first game. It wasn't because of a blowout. We saw it in the first quarter. Dowdle, he got some carries there on that first drive. It looks like it's going to be a conscious effort to get him going and kind of split the reps a little bit more than what we've seen, which I think is a good for both of them.
I agree, because Pollard is a good back, but he's just a good complementary back, and
I'm sure Dowdle is as well. I mean, that's kind of probably what Rico Dowdle is as well. So they don't have this one superstar running back, which is fine. They got two that are probably pretty good, and I think Tony has shown he can be really explosive with just the right amount of carries. But it's not easy to find that. Not easy to find that sweet spot. I think more and more. It's funny how Emmitt Smith. The more and more we see backs and with the years that go on, I think he gets appreciated even more with the way he was able to play the game, stay healthy, play at a high level, be the lead back, take all those hits and really not take many all at the same time. You know what I mean? He never took that big hit. He was blessed, really, and that right there to me is talent. People like to use the word talent all the time, and I think sometimes people say the word talent when they really mean athletic. Heard it over and over. It's like, well, this guy's really, really talented. It's really because he's athletic. Some of these guys, though, are talent because it takes talent to read defenses, study, know what you're supposed to do, take care of your body, be smart in the situations, don't jump off sides. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just a guy that can go and run and jump and things like that. So, all right, let's go to David in Fort Worth. David, what's up?
Hey, how you doing today, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing well. Hey, I just wanted to touch on something that I was just kind of noticing, kind of feeling in my heart. Last time the Cowboys cleaned up, mopped the floor with the Giants, we got super excited and we started talking about we're going to be 4-0, going against the 49ers and yada yada, kind of looking past all these teams, and we ended up doing well against the Jets, but then getting kind of embarrassed against the Cardinals. And I kind of feel like maybe it's just me, but I feel like people are kind of taking that same approach after this Giants win. They're already kind of okay, we're going to beat the Panthers and the Commanders and yada yada, and I can't wait for that Eagles rematch. And I mean, I don't really have any huge points to make. I guess I'm just really intrigued to see how the Cowboys handle this little stretch, because I do feel in my heart that these are games that we should win, and we should win pretty handedly. And I think that the really, really good teams do handle these games, and they do meet the Eagles again after not losing. So I hope that happens. I kind of just wanted to point that out. I hope fans, not that us overlooking the teams is going to have any real effect on what happens on the field, but
right.
I hope fans don't let themselves get let down too hard if they're just overlooking these NFL teams. You know what I mean? So that's just one thing. I think the Commanders, they're a divisional opponent. They can play really well, and Seahawks are good too on any given Sunday. So I wanted to point that out. And then if it was okay, I wanted to touch on I wanted to tell a short DeMarcus Ware story as well. I'm from Texas. I do take no for an answer, so if it's cool with you, man, I'd like to.
Go for it, man. You're good.
Yeah, man. I went to I was at a restaurant in Grapevine one time, and my wife and I were there. And he walked in. He had just done something with some school event. I'm not really sure. I had to Google it afterwards. And I saw him walk in, just this huge dude, just humongous. And I had seen him before because I used to hold the flag on the field in the military. I used to hold the flag, so I'd seen him before. I talked to him. But this time was out in public, and I wanted to talk to him, but I was super nervous. And he was with a business partner, and the business partner got up and left. So I was like, here's my chance. And I was like, excuse me, sir. And then I was like, hey, I'm a big fan. And I kind of just completely froze up. And I was just staring at him, and he was staring back at me, wondering, okay, bro, I get you're a fan. You have anything else to say? and I got a huge smile on my face right now just thinking about it. And, it was just really funny. If I can go back, I would tell him my favorite play that he ever made, I think, because he's made a lot of them. One of my favorite plays that sticks out of my mind, I think it was 06. It may have been 07.
Michael Vick.
But the Michael Vick, the pick six. Yeah, dude, the Michael Vick pick six.
It's pretty awesome.
Stiff-armed him to the ground. Oh, it was wonderful.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, when you have a defining play, they say it. Thanks for the call and the story there, David. They say it in college a lot. Your Heisman moment. What was your Heisman play? If you have in the Hall of Fame, if you make the Hall of Fame, I mean, you've probably got 5 or 6 a year. I mean, that's why you're a Hall of Famer. But I think when you see a Hall of Fame play from DeMarcus Ware, it's that one. Even though, he was defined pretty much by his pass rush and ability to get sacks, but he was a freak. And you don't make that play against Michael Vick. I mean, it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. I mean, it was 6 inches away. I mean, he had no other way he had nothing else to do but to catch that ball. I mean, that thing went right into his mitts. And then after that, to kind of stiff arm him and outrun him to the end zone. I mean, it was just everything that you want out of just an athletic player. And he was in that game. Now, he had sacks, left and right, most sacks in Cowboys history. But yeah, that play is the one that always kind of stands out for me as well. All right, Joseph in Keller, Texas. First-time caller. Joseph.
Hey, Nick. First-time caller. Well, first time getting through. It was on my 99th dial today.
Some guy on Twitter was getting mad. Somebody said that before, called 99 times, and some guy was like, who would call to talk to you? He was talking crap.
I tried one other time and got to 40 something and had to go back to work. But
I like that. First time getting through. Cool.
First time getting through. Yeah.
Nice.
So really quickly, just kind of catching up on some of the things that other callers have requested. Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Haven't watched wrestling in probably 35 years, but that was my favorite wrestler. Tony Dorsett was my favorite player, and I became a fan after the 99-yard run.
Yeah.
So, those were catching up on those things. Some other things that maybe fans might be interested in sharing. Favorite game I ever went to in person was Tony Romo's 6-turnover game in Buffalo. Their first primetime game in like 20 years. I'm originally from upstate central New York, and fans calling me saying, "You're from Canada. You're not even from Texas." So it was funny. And then best game I watched on TV that wasn't in the playoffs. I actually was. One of my former employees was Reed Brees, who's Drew Brees' little brother, and I got to watch that game with him, where DeMarcus came back from the neck injury, and then had, I believe, 5 sacks, some ridiculous number of sacks, and just it was just crazy watching that game. When the Saints were undefeated, it was pretty surreal, to be honest. Yeah. So my favorite game in person and my favorite non-playoff game that I got to watch on TV.
Awesome.
So I was at the game last week, and I'm flying to Charlotte this week. So.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. It sounds like you've gone to a lot of games and get to go to a lot. That's really cool. And thank you for the call. Thank you for getting through, Joseph. Good stories. That 99-yard run. Yeah, you know what I remember about that play? I was like 6 years old, and I remember it was a Monday night game, and I definitely went to sleep before the game was over. And I remember waking up and asking my mom, like, did we win? Did the Cowboys win? And she said, no, but there, and I just remember, like, what is the but? Like, they lost. And she's like, no, but there was a play where Tony Dorsett, he ran, 99 yards. I vividly remember her saying that. I just didn't understand what the but would be after the loss. But I get it now, because we are, 40-something years later, still talking about it. So, yeah, pretty awesome. All right, we have any other callers? We do. Ricky in Martinsburg. How do you say that? Martinsburg?
Yeah.
Martinsburg.
Yeah.
Got
Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Martinsburg. All right. There's a lot of letters in there. Cool. Ricky in Martinsburg, West Virginia. First-time caller. That gets a ding. What's up?
Oh, not much. How's it going with you guys? I hope y'all are having a good day.
We are. How about you?
Oh, not too bad. I got off work early today, and I was able to make a call. I've tried to call several times before, but this is my first time, so
cool.
Getting through.
Awesome.
My thing with the Cowboys, like, I've been a Cowboys fan ever since the year that we went 1-15, and it started with I liked their colors. I was a young kid, and I like the underdogs, but I've always watched the Cowboys. That's like, if I watch any game at all, like, I make sure that I do everything I can to watch a Cowboys game.
Right.
Now, that Philly game, I know there's a lot of people with a lot of different speculations about it, but that's a game that we should have won. Like, that was our game, right. even with the penalties that we had in that game.
Right.
But those refs, like, they really called some foul stuff. Like, I even had a Pittsburgh friend of mine, a Pittsburgh fan, message me like, "What are these refs on? What? Why are they calling some BS like that?" And but not only that, but you guys was talking about Tony Pollard just a few minutes ago, and don't get me wrong, I like Tony Pollard. He is quick and fast, and I think he is a good back, but I do believe the Cowboys should have tried harder to work a deal out with Ezekiel Elliott. I know he had a big old contract, and he was getting up there and slowing down some, but nobody can bruise that lineup that we have right now like Ezekiel Elliott did. Like, we need that good 1-2 punch, and Dak with his legs as that little extra 3-step, that third punch if you need it. but we need a back that can actually hit. Like, you was right with Emmitt Smith. Like, Emmitt Smith took a whole lot of hits.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I played, I always played football every chance I got. I never got to play, like, majorly or anything. But I always tried to imitate Emmitt Smith, and that was hard. Like, I busted up my ankle real bad, and that was, like, pretty much the last time I played because I couldn't really run, couldn't really do much with my ankle after that because it was just the wrong little step. My ankle would twist again.
So you weren't as good as Emmitt Smith. That's what we're saying. Got it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I was
that makes
or
two
not.
of us.
Like, I don't know if I was or not, to be honest, because I grew up in a big family. We didn't have much money, so being able to go and actually do the stuff, to pay for all the gear and all that stuff for school and everything, we just didn't have it. I got 5 brothers and sisters, and it was more important being at home helping out there and stuff. Like, I'm a big old country guy.
All right. Well, we appreciate you calling in from West Virginia, Ricky in Martinsburg, West Virginia, who says maybe he could have been as good as Emmitt Smith. Maybe he's not saying yes or no on that one. Me personally, I'll say no. I was not in Emmitt Smith, but and that's what's so good about watching him and like appreciating him over time. Talking about Emmitt is because these guys, his record of the all-time leading rusher, 18,300 something yards. Like, I just don't see anyone getting that anywhere close. I mean, especially the way the game is played now, the way that people are like devaluing running backs. I mean, you're going to have to just be a Frank Gore type of guy that could just stay healthy and just rack up yards. Even that, he's not anywhere close. So I just see that as a record that I just can't imagine it getting broken. I mean, they all will at some point, but I don't know. Even when they're going to go to an 18-game schedule at some point, even with that, I still don't know if that'll ever happen. All right, Al in Merkel, Texas. You're probably going to be our last caller. Al, what's up?
What's going on?
How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Hey, I just wanted to say that I've been a Cowboy fan since like 1977, and how lucky are we that we have not only one group that won Super Bowls, but we also have the 90s that won the Super Bowls. I got to see them win one when I was about 9 or 10, and then 25 when they won those. I was 25 when they won those 3. And then I never have said this, but my very first game in Texas Stadium was when we beat the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football with 7 field goals.
That's right. Who was the kicker?
Yeah. I knew you were going to ask me that.
Well, come on. He scored 21 points.
Bonio.
There you go.
And then one thing I want to say about today's team is that, like, somebody's got to put respect on Dak about how accurate his throws are on the run.
Yes.
I mean, he's making those throws. You see him warming up during pregame, and you see them all catching them right there, right from their face. If you go back and look, that's where all his throws have been on the run, almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's had some really good throws this year, passes that haven't been caught. And he's gotten lucky that there's a couple that weren't intercepted. I mean, this happens throughout.
Oh, yeah.
But he's had a few that should have been, touchdowns. I know Schoonmaker's been on a couple of these drops. Gallup's had a couple drops as well. He's had some where he's had some really nice throws that haven't always been connected.
Oh yeah, or intercepted. I mean, when they hit them in the hands and bounce over right to the defenders.
Yep, exactly.
Anyway, love the show, love the network. I listen to all the shows every day. I love what y'all do, and like you told that other guy, he gives us a break from www.espn and their clowns. So anyway, like I said, I appreciate what y'all do, and thanks for taking my calls, and looking forward for a Cowboy win this Sunday.
All right. Thank you for the call, and this isn't me really trying to start any kind of war with the big networks or anything like that. I'm just saying that it is what it is. I mean, I know that they don't always feel that way. We did a shoot with Stephen A. Smith. Like, went up to, I think we had a crew go up to his house and we did our schedule release video. He was so gracious. He was really nice. I just think I think a lot of this is a front, and it is because you've got to sell, you've got to engage viewers, and that's what it is. So, but Al said something kind of interesting. He was like, how lucky are we that we've had two different sets. He was able to watch some 70s, 90s, 70s dynasty, and then also in the 90s. But if you're 30 years old and you're trying to be a Cowboy fan and survive through this, I mean, you haven't had anything like that. So yes, some fans are lucky to have that and fortunate. Other fans that are hanging in there, that haven't experienced anything other than some really tough losses in the divisional round, and that's not gonna cut it long term. So I get it. Everyone has a different perspective. Some people have never had that feeling, but when it happens, it'll be a lot of fun. So who knows? Maybe it'll be sooner than later. But let's don't get ahead of ourselves. Cowboys take on the Panthers this week, just trying to get to 7-3. All right, for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See ya.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!